They don't mean here, I took it from zero to fame. Saying I read it for miles, and shit wasn't luck. They got me fucked up. Off the drone bus and take you around. A couple of guys side of the school, I gave them the tools to get it off ground. They say they're the ones when they make their ears can't look in the mirror. That shit back.
You think I can't hit this one-handed?
Hell no.
All right, lunch on you if I do.
I'm coming to tweet.
What's up, YouTube? I got the Landers Weapon Systems times Veil Solutions Tomahawk, and yeah, this is not a regular Glock. This is as Gucci Glock as Gucci Glocks really get, in my opinion. Checks all the boxes for what I like in a Glock. Got some crazy porting, got the best slide cuts of any aftermarket Glock slide I've ever felt, and that is definitely one of the things that sets good aftermarket Glocks apart, is the aggressiveness of the slide serrations, and they have the best in my opinion. So let's give y'all a little rundown, but I do want to let y'all know to stick around because I am going to put myself to the test today and give you guys a real life scenario with shooting ports and why some people do choose against it. So I'll actually show you guys a little preview of that, but this test is going to be crazy. So let's see here. Okay, that is definitely more. That hurts. So starting tip to butt, let's go over this. We do got suppressor height sights for the irons that co-witness super good with the RMR. The direct milled slide for RMR on these is super low compared to a lot of the Glocks that I have seen. So I actually love the slide cut there for the red dot because the co-witness is really nice. I personally like a lower 1/3 co-witness, and this does sit perfectly. Almost bridges the gap between that and a half witness, half co-witness, or whatever you, true co-witness, whatever you want to call it. And aesthetically, the slide is badass. I love the Tomahawks on there. And obviously this is the name, the Tomahawk. And if, little side note, random side note, but they actually do make a matching, basically, AR to this that I am hunting down. So DM me on Instagram if you got one. I am looking for that actively because that for a 2-gun match video would be nuts. So I do want that. I believe that it's a Type A, or it's a, no, it's a Sons of Liberty. Sons of Liberty Gunworks Veil Solutions Tomahawk, and yeah, I need that. So someone slide in my DMs and let me know what you'll let it go for. We can make a trade, whatever. Anyways, back to this. Super deep slide serrations, and they're actually multi-leveled. I'll show you guys some good up close videos of that. But it gives you such an impressive purchase. Not too aggressive, doesn't hurt or anything, but feels great, especially shooting a lot, getting sweaty. It's super humid here in North Carolina. That is awesome. And just aesthetically, it looks almost like futuristic cyber like details up close when you look at it with the cuts. But obviously form and function matter, and it's got both. Then I went with the Primatia slide release. Used to be Cagworks, I want to say, but now they go by Primatia. Super nice slide release there. I like it extended because I ride a nice high grip, and sometimes on Glocks it can either catch on the slide riding back, and also sometimes it will prevent lockback because I'm actually depressing the slide catch. So love that. This is their full package for the Tomahawk, so crazy stippling, some of the best I've ever felt. That's a good happy medium between a super aggressive and carryable. In my opinion, they kind of hit the sweet spot right on the mark here. Got super nice ledges for your thumbs, ambi on both sides. Gives you a great thumb ledge. The double undercuts are super nice, and they even gave you some crazy aggressive stippling under there. And if you want to be the type of person that you let your finger ride up here, if you're not running a light, it's perfectly shaped. And then if you also want to be under, they've got the double undercuts that let your finger just rest beautifully. So I think that it is perfect for that. And then got some really beautiful magwell cutouts here that ride whatever aftermarket magwell you want to choose. I went with Terran just because I personally really like the Terran magwells for carry. It's kind of a, they have one larger one if you want to do like competition style, but for the carry size one, I think it's perfect. And then it obviously is just super aesthetic and looks great with the +2 or the +4 base pads that are also Terran, and I think it just adds to the overall aesthetic. And then the trigger is just a Glock Performance trigger with an aftermarket shoe, but in my opinion, that's like as far as I personally like to go with my Glocks for aftermarket internals, just because the whole purpose of having a Glock at the end of the day is the insane reliability. In my opinion, it's the most reliable handgun ever made. Glocks are just notorious tanks for whatever you put them through, so I don't like to mess with internals on Glocks unless maybe you're going to run competition or something and then you want to fuck around and push it to the limit. Good on you, but I carry this, so I don't like to push things to the limit. Now, as far as the porting, I want to talk more about that, but instead of just sitting here yapping, I'm going to show y'all some shit with the porting. So let's get into that. So one of the biggest contentions of a ported pistol of any kind is that for concealed carry, people say that the concussive force is way too much, or that the actual like flare and shrapnel from the ports can hurt you. So I'm gonna put myself to the test on that today, and we're gonna find out. So inside my truck here, we are gonna take a couple shots from enclosed near my face area and just see. I'm gonna compare it with a non-ported, non-comped Glock, and as a lot of y'all know, the Radian Ramjet comped Glock. So we're gonna find out together, and then hopefully we can all walk away from this with a little more knowledge on what we want to carry. So let's do the ports. You know what? Let's do non-ported, non-comp first, and that way we'll get the best possible test. All right. Okay, that is definitely concussive. Little more than you're used to shooting outside. Let's do one more. Let's do above it. Because we want to feel if we're getting any of that force here. Yeah, you don't feel anything on your arm there. So not bad, but definitely is pretty concussive in an enclosed space like this. Now let's do compensated Glock. I don't think, pressure-wise, it doesn't feel much different, to be honest with you. Yeah, it doesn't feel much different. Let's see if we're noticing anything directly. I felt a tiny bit of shrapnel there, but it's nothing at all bothersome. So nothing there, no irritation or anything. So all right, porting, the supposed ports that throw a lot more shrapnel and are a lot more concussive. So let's find out. It doesn't feel that any more concussive, to be completely honest with you. Let's see. I think visually it is, though, a little bit more flash in your face. All right, let's see. Let's see.
That was pretty bad for the passenger.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, passenger notices more. It's not so much in your face there. Visually, it's the most, though, I will say. Visually, it's the actual flash and the flare of the gases leaving the ports is more than both of the previous. So let's see here. Okay. That is definitely more. That hurts. That legitimately does actually hurt. Let's see. You can actually see some of the shrapnel in my arm. Getting that? I think we even broke skin. Okay, I don't want to do that again, to be completely honest. I think, you know what, I'll do one more just because I fucking love you guys. Make sure you drop a sub, because you're not getting this. You're not getting real shit like this nowhere else. Let's just be honest, you're not. I looked, so I know you're not. All right. Oh, that is actually not fun, you guys. That is not fucking fun. All right, let's hop out. Why don't you come around and let's take a look at this. I want you guys to see. Okay, porting actually does objectively, I mean, that it is objectively worse as far as shrapnel in your eyes. I will say, I would, if you had to shoot out of your truck in a defensive situation, ports are not what you want. How often is that going to happen though? That's the other thing to consider. Nearly never, but not never. Never for most people, but not never for defensive situations, because we've all seen the videos. Like, we all go online and watch a gazillion CCW videos, defense videos, and a lot of them are out of the truck. A lot of them are road rage. This actually put a lot of things into perspective for me. If you want the smallest footprint possible, ports are the way to go. They don't extend the barrel at all. The concussive force wasn't any more, but the shrapnel is definitely more. I mean, that is actually impressive, because the ramjet through basically none. You felt a tiny bit, but it was not painful whatsoever. This is actually pretty painful. And obviously, if you got that without glasses, if you did have to shoot in any way where that could come up towards your eye, that would not be a good time. That's something to consider. All right, well, let's, now that we got that test out of the way, let's go. I do love shooting this fucking thing though. So in every context except an enclosed space like this, I think I'm still going with this, to be honest with you guys. I still do love carrying this. I'm still gonna carry it, and I'll show you guys some of the reasons for that, but let's go do some draws from concealment, some bill drills, and you'll kind of see why. Yeah, so I wanted you guys to be able to make sure you had a nice close-up look at this. I will say that is painful. It actually is. I don't know why it's so much different. I wouldn't have guessed that from porting versus comped. But that is something to consider. I looked online, I read a bunch of people's like opinions back and forth on it, but I didn't see anyone like actually testing this. So, you know, we put it to the test for you guys, and you know, that's something to consider. And I think I personally don't mind, just because at the end of the day, the likelihood of you having to shoot that in such a way where you are going to aim it at yourself, or aim the barrel at yourself, you know, it's not very high. So is it a realistic issue? It could be. You know, if something does happen and you're fighting for concealment and you have to like bend over and get a pop shot off, yeah, that's going to suck. I'll be honest, that's going to suck a lot. You know, adrenaline will be pumping, so you probably won't notice in the moment if it's other than your eyes. So keep that in mind. But let's get some real world shots of the Landers Weapon Systems Tomahawk, because I still do fucking love it, and I am still definitely going to carry it. And just because of the raw performance in a situation where you have to use it and you can draw and present, the gun's a monster. It just is. So I want to show you guys, at the end of the day, there's a ton of factors to consider, but shootability and the printing, like the physical size and footprint of the pistol, does matter a lot. And in my opinion, depending on the scenario, matters the most. And this gun is not any longer than any other gen, you know, Glock 19. So you get the performance without sacrificing any size. And in my opinion, for this right scenario, that is second to none. So I mean, you guys can see the recoil on that is, I mean, it's ridiculous. So, you know, I won't bore you guys with a ton more droning on, but that's what I need you guys to see. At the end of the day, this thing is a monster of a little gun. It's one of my favorite little pocket rockets, as I like to call it. And yeah, if you are at all searching for an aftermarket Glock, the Tomahawk, in my opinion, is definitely should be in your top contender list. And yeah, guys, thanks for coming and kicking it. Like and subscribe, and happy Glocktober.